ocean road that will take you there. Be informed and stay in tune. Uplift your soul and heal your wounds. Welcome to Bashment Bay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello and welcome back to Bashment Bay TV. This is season 2, episode 1, and we're so excited to be back. I'm Sharon Cummings.
I'm Tanya Marie Greaves.
And I'm Chris Gilchrist.
I am so excited. As I said, Chris is our newest co-host. Welcome and thank you for being here. I've always wanted a male perspective when we have discussion, so I am glad that you are now part of the team. You were my co-host years ago when we used to do Bashment Bay and Comcast, so welcome back.
Careful what you wish for, Sharon, because, the perspective may not just be, right? Okay.
Well, that's what this show is. That's what this show is all about, okay? So we want different perspective on whatever the topic that we're talking about. We can disagree and we can agree to disagree.
Right.
So today, our topic discussion will be on COVID, the myth and misinformation that we're being fed. And on that note, we'll be right back.
Welcome to Bashment Bay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Welcome back. We're going to go straight into our conversation because we have a lot to discuss. And I am so excited to get all the different opinions from my co-hosts. So on that note, Tanya.
No. Hold on. We do have a lot to discuss, and we have to start with this new hairstyle of yours.
What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it?
No, it a happen. Me like what go on. It turn up.
I didn't feel like wearing a ponytail today, so I just said, let me leave my hair out. Is that okay with you? You see, this is what we get when we have a male on board, okay?
Then let me ask you a question. Woman dress up and left them yard for door.
If I'm going to the store, I put myself together. I don't
Absolutely. Because why you do that? Because just in case somebody see you, or when you have your person in your yard, I don't look anybody, but you want to say, you look good and you sort out. So I just tell you, say,
Well, I mean, sometimes you're doing it just to lift your own spirits, really.
But, agreed, but my spirit
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That is so true. That is so true, because if you see me dress up a lot, that means I'm feeling a way, so I'm uplifting myself.
Oh.
And also, I remember once, we're off the topic, but I remember once when my mom was alive and she was going to book a ticket to go to Jamaica. So she was leaving to go because the travel agency was just down the road, up the block. And she was wearing what she had on in the house. So I'm like, where you think you're going with that? I said, no, but I'm just going up the block. No, change your clothes. And guess what? When we went to the travel agency, it was the person that owned it is someone she knew from way back in Jamaica when she was young. Okay? So I said, you see, if you had your house clothes on, you would have thought that maybe you're doing so poorly, So you never know.
That is true.
Oh, well. This is true. But right now in this day and age, people don't have yard clothes and goat-in clothes. Everything mix up.
Well, no, my grandkids, they still have house clothes and going out clothes. My grandson is always telling me, I don't want to wear my going out clothes to school. I said, that's not your going out clothes, that's your school clothes.
School. Keep it right. You have the school clothes, you have the church clothes, you have the going out clothes.
Mm.
Exactly. Exactly. We still do that.
But
It's a
these
Jamaican
days,
thing.
sometimes I'm lazy and I have on my workout pants whenever I have anything on. Because I don't work out in it. I just,
Right.
it's really my house clothes.
Anyway,
Mm-mm.
Okay.
let's get back to the
thing.
topic.
Yes, back to the topic at hand. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now I know that during the break, Tanya, you got COVID.
Yes.
Tell us a little about that.
Honestly, so we were taking all of our precautions, and I believe, totally blaming it on my hubby, believe that he forgot to sanitize his hands after the gas station, which he is so like he's worse than me. Like he's like hand sanitizer, hand sanitizer, hand sanitizer. And the one moment maybe he was just stressed about work and he did the gas station and he went like this and then sanitized. There was a period where he caught it, and we think it was from the pump, because he's so careful. But so, brought it home. I got it. My son didn't get it. We got him tested and we shipped him out of the house for about a month. I was very mild symptoms. I had a headache a couple of days, and then it felt more like a head cold, for the rest of the time. So I was doing my breathing treatments with, the Vicks and the eucalyptus, and drinking what a drink my mom got. She did the bush tea where she bring from her yard. The semi-contra and the Burbine and all of that, and rested while my husband had it, and then his mom got it. So he's just like running around trying to take care of her, so he didn't get the rest. And so, it went pretty south for them, but he was able to recover. And we're, still dealing with some of the effects from his mom, because she's definitely older. So kind of just dealing with that still. So, I mean, it was, for me, of course, I don't have any known, what do you call it, existing conditions. So it was it was more frustrating than anything else, having to be inside. But and it wasn't fun.
They say that you're more prone to become sicker if you have underlying condition.
Mhm.
Now, I don't think they know everything. This is why it's so important to take all the precautions. I have a friend, he's obese, very obese. He's diabetic. He has high blood pressure, and he got COVID, and he was asymptomatic.
Mhm.
Okay, so that went out the window, that if you have underlying issue,
Right.
you get sicker.
Right.
They really don't know. This is why, again, it's so important to take the precaution. He did wear mask, but I don't think he was that, because he drives a truck and stuff like that, always meeting different people. So maybe that's how we got it, but he was fine.
Yeah.
Chris, I think your situation is a little different. Are you up to
Well,
telling us?
So, I mean, to begin with, I can disclose I am fully vaccinated. Took the Moderna shots back in March and April, shot 1 and 2. My experience with that, I just had the sore arm from the first shot. The second shot is when I did experience some kind of, I wouldn't call it sickness. I had what I would consider to be mild flu-like symptoms for about 12 hours. The headache, what felt like a really mild fever. I didn't need medication or anything like that. because being a manager of a group of people, I wanted to know what exactly to expect so that when I talk to people about their concerns, I was able to tell them what my experience was. So took the 2 shots and been fine. I work in a very high energy and high pace, very heavy traffic environment, and I'm dealing with people constantly. So I don't know if it's just the care or is it possible, that the vaccine may be doing something and helping. Who knows? I took the chance. Here I am. I haven't grown any extra toes or fingers, or anything like that. So I'm doing all right. So in July, I went to Jamaica because my grandmother of 99 years old contracted COVID. So I went to Jamaica in July to go and visit, just go and see her, fearing the worst. And the day I returned from Jamaica, she passed. So then I went back to Jamaica for a funeral. And while there, my dad, who is 78, he contracted COVID. And the day I left on the 31st, and then 6 days later, he passed. So my dad, being 78, lifelong smoker, I guess, and even through it all, nobody thought he wasn't coming home. It was like, okay, it's COVID and we're running up and down and trying to find another hospital and stuff like that, find a place to get a ventilator and this, that, and the third. And then in the midst of that, he passed. Now, my dad had the 1 of 2 shots. The time hadn't come for the 2nd shot, and he was still waiting on that. But, this was from him trying to help a cousin who had come home ill. And then he insisted and took the cousin to the doctor, and, just being in a vehicle with him, could have contracted it at that point in time, because my dad doesn't go out anywhere else, So the family's kind of dealing with that. And the 1-2 punch was kind of tough. I'm preparing to head back to Jamaica myself to go deal with that. Granted, I was nervous because I was there with them as well. So, yes, I had to test to get back on the plane to come back. So I did that. Of course, it was a rapid test that was done. And, based on all the information about the rapids, false negatives, false positives, stuff like that. I mean, once I came back, I went and got a PCR test done to make sure before I came back to work, and also before I interacted with my wife and my children. I pretty much quarantined myself in my upstairs bedroom, and, it was like, nope, lock the door, nobody come up, because I didn't know. But so far, I've been COVID negative, all the testing that I've done. And I want to think that, having the vaccine has had a part to play in that. Believe me, until it hits your doorstep, and it was already real for me, but it became a hell of a lot more real, watching 2 family members with whom I was really, really close, just so quick. Like I said, I left Jamaica on the 31st of August, and on 6th of September, he was gone. Yeah, so it didn't take very long at all.
You see, that's the thing. It affects everyone differently, and again, this is why it's important to take all the precautions that you can. Now, I took the vaccine back in June, and the first shot, my arm hurt that night by the moon, and it was fine. When I got my 2nd shot, nothing, not even my arm hurt the 2nd time. I am scared of needles. Okay, I was paranoid because I said I didn't want to take the vaccine when it first came out. I wanted to see, the result of people taking it. So that's why I took a little longer before taking it. And beside my husband, he has Crohn's, so I didn't want to take any chance. So that's why I went and I did it. And then after last month is when my husband and my son took it. My daughter, my sister, everyone took it before I did. Even my grandson, my 12-year-old grandson, he has both shots also. And one of the things, I have a grandson that live with me, and I'm so paranoid with him going to school. So I get on his nerves. I know I get on his nerve because keep your mask on. I gave him sanitizer. I gave him wipes. I said, whatever you touch, just wipe your hand.
Mhm.
And from he touched the front door, it's like, take off your shoes. I spray down his bag and he goes in the shower. Because, the thing is, you never know how it's going to affect you. It could be so mild, like Tanya, no big deal, like a cold. And then, with someone else, it kills them.
Yeah.
People that work thank God my husband is still working at home, but people that worked on his job, there's a couple, they were engaged. She got it, the fiance got it, the fiance died. She just had the mild effect from it. So you never, ever know. So,
it kind of
mask-
calls on the masks are very important, I think, because it kind of calls on now for people to tap into a different part of their humanity, right? And stop thinking selfishly. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's not about me, right? My mask is worn to protect you from me, okay? And so when you think about things like that, if you're thinking about other people, and like you said, it is so vastly different the way this virus deals with individuals. It's so personal. You don't know what it's going to do from one person to the next.
It's not biased.
No, not at all. Not at all. You could be, I'll tell you, my dad was performing an act of kindness, being as selfless as he could, right? And this is how he fell to that, so it's thinking about protecting other people from you. You don't know if you have it, because like you said, one can be asymptomatic. So you wear the mask, not because you're feeling good, I'm feeling fine, I'm all right, I don't have it, or I had it already, and this, that, and the third. No, you wear it to protect people from you.
Another thing is
I took the vaccine, so I don't need to wear it.
That's
what I was just going to say.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to say. Oh, I'm fully vaccinated. I don't need to wear a mask. Bull.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. From I had the vaccine, I've never stopped wearing my mask ever.
Listen, my breathing has changed now because I've adapted to covering my face. Like it's now a part of my daily dress. It's
Color coordinate.
I still can't breathe with it, but it's a part of my daily dress.
Yeah.
I color coordinate with my mask and what I wear. But it has become political.
And that's the sad piece. That's the sad piece about it. And the reality is that, unfortunately, some of these individuals who are politically driven, unfortunately, they're waiting until the death angel gets to their door for it to become real.
And that's happening a lot. A lot of these, what they call them, right-wing radio hosts, a lot of them that were, no vaccine, no mask. I'm free. This is America. They're dead now.
Actually, I saw it with the British Prime Minister very early out. He was one of them that was, against mandates. He was one of them against, people wearing masks or even shutting down and stuff like that. And then when he got it and gave him a very, very rugged wake-up call, his complete tune completely changed. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, like I still am. I'm not a fan of mandate per se, especially when it comes to the vaccine. When it comes to the mask, I'm like, mandate all you want. I don't feel like we should be mandating the vaccine because you still also don't know how that's going to treat everybody either. But
this is correct. One of the things that I've talked with other individuals about is the fact, first of all, right now, for example, many healthcare professionals are being met with that, whether you not having the option, but when you don't know what the law is, right, you tend to swallow any pill that's given. And so while there is a mandate out there for workers or companies that have more than 100 employees, there's a mandate out there for the vaccine. However, there is still the option to opt out. There are still options to do that. And some employers were not presenting that to their employees. It was just like, oh, you got to take it. And I'm like, that's why people, you have to listen. You have to pay attention, do your own research, pay attention to the information that's going on, pay attention to the Supreme Court, because they are the ones who are providing people with what the rules are and what their rights are. There's an option to opt out of that. My children aren't vaccinated. Never taken a vaccine, right? Because they have an exemption. There's a process by which you could have an exemption, right?
What it is, if for companies that mandate the vaccine, if you don't want to do the vaccine, then you have to be tested every, I think it is.
I mean, whatever they decide to do in terms
they
of the
do have an option. But my thing with the health care workers, remember when a lot of people were dying in nursing homes? It was the healthcare workers that brought in the virus and kill off all these people because they weren't going anywhere. So it's either get vaccinated or take a test every week to make sure you're not bringing in the virus to these helpless people.
Well, and but you're in the healthcare facilities, working in those facilities, they can easily give those tests.
Right.
So there's really not, so yeah.
So if we could just take a minute and look at some of the reasoning, because I'm not telling anybody one way or the other what to do. I'm really just trying to get an understanding myself as to why. Okay, so first thing I would like to look at is, why would the government feel the need to mandate? So I've looked at it, and just based on my experience and what I've seen, I realize one of the pillars of any societal infrastructure is your healthcare system, okay? And right now, the healthcare system on a global level is stressed to the max, okay? I saw it in Jamaica. I talked to people who work in the hospital where my dad was. And one of the things was that, listen, there are no beds up here to put anybody in. And if they come, they're going to sit here and wait for 24 hours, maybe more, before a room becomes available. There's hardly any workers, healthcare providers to treat these patients, right? There is no treatment for COVID. They manage you through your symptoms, okay? If you need some oxygen, you get it. If you need a ventilator, you get it. There's no treatment, medication that they're giving you to treat you through this thing. And so what I find that is happening is that because now the hospitals are overrun with COVID patients that they can't manage to begin with, God forbid your kidney rupture, you have a heart attack, whatever else, any other illness happens, you're not have nowhere to go.
But that's what's happening.
I hear you.
That's what's happening.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. And you kind of touched on it a little already, Chris. The situation with the healthcare structure did not happen because of COVID.
No, COVID pretty much highlighted the holes in the system, right?
Right, even more, because, knowing that I had all my aunts working as nurses in the hospital systems and things like that. And they've forever been overstressed, overworked, no available beds like there should be. You've got one nurse taking care of 4 patients, all of that.
Oh, 6. 6 at a time. My wife's a nurse and she's traveled and worked.
So right? So So, so yes, so that's the issue. And now because of this COVID thing, now we want to, we everybody.
Well, it has exacerbated
Exasperated
the issue, because the reality is that more people are going to the hospital
Right.
because of COVID,
Right.
right? So they're going into a system that was
Broken.
already stressed to
Yeah.
begin with.
Right.
Now it's kind of like, a friend of mine who's a nurse in Jamaica, the way she explained it to me, she's like, Chris, it's like trying to mop out a room that is flooding. All right. So
Right.
they're doing everything that you know how to do. How do you mop? How do you clean up a mess? You use the mop and a bucket. You're there with your mop and bucket, but the water's still coming in, right? And so they're in the midst of an impossible situation.
Yep.
So with that, the mindset may be, and there's no one who has a perfect answer for this system, okay? But right now, the mindset is that, what do we need to do? We need to stop the flow of patients into the hospital so that we can have some kind of stability. And what they're thinking is that the way in which to do that is for mass vaccination, because right now, the vaccine, again, doesn't cure COVID, doesn't prevent you from getting COVID, doesn't stop you from spreading COVID. What it does, right? What the studies have shown is to reduce your risk or reduce the chance of you having or needing critical care.
Right.
So
Or
if they can
dying.
reduce that, which essentially turns the COVID now into, for want of a better phrase, turns it into the flu, right? Where you can manage these symptoms at home, where you can medicate at home, right?
Right.
Once you take that away, where you don't need to overflow the healthcare system, the hospitals and stuff like that, then there's a chance that they will be able to start to have some leveling out of what they're dealing with now.
Right.
And if you notice where the problem is with the hospital capacities are the states that the vaccination rates are very low. Where the vaccination rates are higher, it's not as bad. So there's something to being vaccinated, because I think that it's better to be safe than sorry, and if we want this thing to end, I don't see where it's going to end, because it has become so political. They refuse to wear masks, so they definitely not taking the vaccine.
You know why it's not going to end? Because you have variant upon variant, and you're going to have to go get your boosters.
Why is there variant and variant? Because people are spreading the virus all over the place. So the more you spread the virus, the more variants can develop.
But
yes,
it's at this point, how do they know how fast it's not going to go away. Even if we all took the vaccine, all type of variant already out there. They talk about Delta. There's Zeta. There's that they don't even know yet. And so
that is why it's important to take precautions.
Right.
I mean, what's the problem in wearing a mask? Seriously. It's not the most comfortable thing, but if I know I'm going to be protecting someone else and myself, why wouldn't I wear a mask?
Right.
You know what surprised me? I see all these people partying, and they have the nerve to be putting it out on Facebook with all the crowd. They're partying, dancing, no mask.
Listen, let me tell you, so having recently been in Jamaica and been there for quite a while, it was each time I was there more than 10 days. And there is not a single business, I don't care if it's a little corner shop, you do not walk into any business in Jamaica without a face covering. You do not get to walk into any business in Jamaica without somebody dousing you down with alcohol or hand sanitizer, right? So they're doing the little things that we know how to do, that the rest of the world is doing. Right. What happened, however, speaking of political, is when the approval was given to have this crazy dream weekend, right? And so now we're dealing with the remnants. Jamaica is now dealing with the remnants of the partying and the dream weekend and all these things. So, you know, it's and some of these people, again, asymptomatic people, but carried the viruses home to, you know, and spread to other relatives and friends. And so when I look at what people are doing in Jamaica with regarding taking precautions, the numbers and what I'm seeing wasn't adding up. Because like I said, you can't go anywhere and this not happening. Like you cannot walk in. Like they stop you from going in. There are places that are still now counting the number of people, you know, that come in and managing how many people are inside. But the numbers is still rising. Why? Because, you know, people want to party.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing that happened at during 4th of July, after 4th of July here in the States.
Yeah. Numbers went up because people wanted to party.
You know,
people want to have the cookout. You know, You know, I believe I'm not a scientist, not a doctor, but I believe that what is happening, what could be happening, where the variants are coming from, again, because this virus is so individual. The effects are individual, right? The impact, how everybody's body, your recovery, the after effects, it's so individual. No two cases have seemed to have been the same so far. Similar symptoms, however, they could be at varying degrees with different people. I think what is happening is that when the virus interacts with your individual biology, right? That's where the variants are coming from. Something inside of you is mixing with this and it's doing something else, probably taking something that exists, it attaches itself, just like how cells attach, you know, they attach to each other and they become something else. Something that's inside some of these individuals are attaching, whether it be their underlying conditions that's attaching and mutating into something else. And that's where you're getting these variants from. So what does that mean?
I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying, what does that mean is that continuing with your precautions, continuing to do those little things. Look here, my dad Jamaica, you can't barely find ginger, you know, ginger, garlic, and turmeric. Girl.
I was drinking my ginger.
Listen, what tea a drink at Jamaica can't go to style right now. People are drinking tea flying. Okay. But the neighborhood my dad lives in, you know, it's a residential neighborhood. It's fairly quiet. But I found it so striking that you can hear people on their phones, right? And in an instant, you can hear 3-4 different conversations happening at 3-4 different yards, and everybody talking about COVID.
Of course. But another thing is sometimes with these people is not everyone knows what's happening in their body. They could have some kind of a disease and they don't know. So they think they don't have an underlying issue. Right. I've heard people say, oh, eat healthy, do your exercise, and you build up your immune system. I know people like that, and they still get it. They still get sick. You know, people have died that are fitness expert. So no, that is not it. Yeah. You know, you don't know what's going on in your body. It could be something that you don't know. The doctors didn't tell you is going on. You didn't go to the doctor, whatever. Something is going on in your body. You don't know. This is why, again, I will say it's important to take precaution. Wear the bloody mask. And is partying that important to be in a room with 100, 200 people? Is that more important than, okay, I've heard people say, well, you know, when it's my time, it's my time. What about their kids, their husband, their mom, their dad, their grandparents? That is such a selfish statement.
Me not speed up the time. May I try dodge that as long as me can. So guess what? Me not skydive. Me not go on no safari, go hunt no animal. Yeah? Me not...
So definitely I've skydived. And I have said that phrase, and not in the face of, oh well, who cares about anyone else, but in the thought process of, honestly, I have known it's a shame, I've known a few people, young, fit, eating right, all of that. And I've known one died in his sleep. You got the next one, they walk outside and get hit by something. Like I've known personally people like this, and I know those stories are all over. So saying that, I don't think I know when I'm saying it, it's not because, oh, I have no, care for the people around me, because like I said, I do take my precautions. But, it's one of those things that, look, I can take the vaccine tomorrow and dead from something else. If it's my time, it is my time. Also, just going back to the vaccine talk, I've known more than a handful, actually, from my job, who have had the vaccine and then months later gotten sick, and not just, and of course they call them the breakthrough cases, right? But not just gotten sick. Some of them have gotten sick. Some of them have had to be hospitalized, even after that. So it just goes
breakthrough cases.
You have to do, when it comes to the vaccine, you have to do what you feel is best for you, because the vaccine is, besides the argument of, trying to bring down the cases in the hospitals to help the healthcare system, but really it is a personal, like, is it going to help you? You don't know. It could not, you don't know.
Right.
It's a decision you have to make. When it comes to taking taking your mask and sanitizing and, extra clean hygiene, extra clean hygiene, because some of us were good at it before, and some of us, they needed the COVID to show them how.
True.
That's what's going to help. But you can't, look, we wear our masks. You can walk through the gas station and someone cough and a droplet get into your eye, and there you go, you have COVID. Because they say, I don't know, they say it's not airborne, but to me, if the droplet can fly through the air and catch somewhere, then it's airborne. So
I've made this argument too for those individuals that are just so against the vaccine, especially some of us immigrants. And my argument is, if you have migrated to this country from anywhere, you can't sit down here and come tell me nothing about no vaccine, because when it is connected to your green card, them you take whichever joke them say you take, to get your piece of paper.
Nobody never asked,
right? Okay, listen.
Has anyone never asked what's in a vaccine?
Hold on. I thought that, so I had to get revaccinated when I was getting my green card, because I didn't have my immunization card from Jamaica, right? So everything women did have from before, then give me them again. I've been boasting for so many years. Oh, I haven't taken a flu shot. I don't take flu shots. I'm not taking no flu shot. I haven't taken one, blah, blah, blah. And that day, I sit down and look on the vaccine card and see the big old influenza on the bottom. Okay? They gave me the flu shot unbeknownst to me. Yeah?
Yes. Can I say something to that? It's so funny and I love that you said that, because I had this conversation with a coworker, and she's like, well, didn't you get your shots when you were growing up? Right? Yes, because they said, and how many kids have gotten shot? But do you know how many kids didn't get their shots because they knew the law and knew how to get around that, because they didn't want to put those shots into their children? Sometimes you do things to get through something, and you don't have the education or the knowledge of what you can and cannot do. And so that's why you did it. but sometimes you like right now, I just went to go get a physical for my son, and she's like, well, you know, these aren't required for anything, but you know, these at this age, you typically get them. You know,
Remember a couple of
chose
years
not to do
ago, there's a lot of parents that decided they're not giving their kids their vaccines. And we had a measles breakout because they weren't vaccinated. They started spreading the measles in school. That's
Be
what
careful.
happened.
Be
You
careful.
know,
Be careful with that.
the
We're also
you know why the
vaccinated.
measles and the chicken pox and all of that went? Because enough people got vaccinated. Not everyone, but enough that it became like, okay, even if you get it, it's not that serious anymore.
But
you
Well, I
had
didn't know
the
that chicken.
chicken.
we've got
Huh?
to make sure people read up in detail on what the case is, because that's what'll be also posted in the media. But sometimes when you look into these things, there are different stories, there are different ways of things being caught, even when they've been vaccinated. You know,
What about
and then when you
smallpox?
look at all
Smallpox.
and you've looked at all these things that when you get vaccine on some of these things, you look at some of the numbers of, for instance, autism, how much it's increased over, you can't shake your head. It shows these numbers, how much it's increased over the years. I can't tell you which ones have done
The
it.
country should be artistic if that's the case, because
I have an
before
autistic
10
son.
years ago, before,
I have an
what is it,
autistic
about
son,
10,
and he's
15
not. He hasn't
years
been
ago?
vaccinated
No,
ever.
it's
This
not.
is what I'm
This
saying.
is what I'm saying is you have to read up on why these things happen. I'm not saying that that he got autism because he was vaccinated.
Mhm.
But
Or
that's
they
what
got-
a lot of people is
No.
saying, why they're
what
not
is the
vaccinating their
history-
kids.
The history of it and what it can do to the connection to it. Everything's a correlation. Okay.
So what about these diseases that were about that? What about all the smallpox and all those other diseases that came about where a vaccination is what got rid of it? Well, it's not totally gone. As I said, enough people got the vaccine that it's not as prevalent, or you don't die from it anymore. But it was a vaccine.
Right.
I got all the vaccines as a child, all of them,
So did I.
and I caught every last one of them damn things. I had measles.
So did
I had
I.
mumps. I don't
So
know if
did
I had
I.
the. I don't know if I had the whooping cough. I still
had the
remember my
whooping
grandmother
cough.
tying my jaw. My grandmother tying my jaw with warm ashes. And listen, but you know, I didn't realize it's afterwards. It's later on in my life I realized that these are things that people were dying
Dying
from
from.
before, right? Yeah, it used to be a death sentence, but again, quite possibly because of the advent of the vaccine, then it's not as prevalent anymore, or the prognosis is not as grim. I was one of those individuals like you, Sharon, that said that, you know what, I was going to wait a little while. I was going to wait until about a year after before I even I considered taking it. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, and I'm not one who's pushing a vaccine either. Personally, I said I was going to wait, right? Called my brother, because my job at this point, my job started to offer the vaccine to team members and family members. I'm of the mindset that everything else, if something can become political, it can also become economic, right? And so I realized that pretty soon, you're going to have to go pay for this thing. So right now, because it's readily available, I'm going to jump in at this point before it gets to a point where you got to be Bill Gates to get it, right? So I called my brother. He's in residency in Miami, and I called him and I told him. And he stopped me in the midst of my sentence and he told me, say, Chris, you too smart to be asking me something so silly. He told me, he said, I'm in a hospital every day, and he's attending physician, young man, early 40s. When he's not at work, he's at the gym, okay? 2 weeks it took him. 2 weeks and he was gone. So that was a wake-up call for him, right? This is his attending physician, his professor, right? In residency. No known medical conditions that anybody is aware of. Again, not sure all of what's going on in your body, right? But no known underlying conditions. And this otherwise fit physician in 2 weeks. And it was not variant. It was the regular COVID came and he went in 2 weeks' time. So, that's kind of what hastened my steps too. I was like, well, me can't tell when last me walking out on gym. And the 6 donut that me eat this morning, I can't consider them to be the quite healthiest. So let me try a thing.
I mean, look, if it could be anything. You could be taken out by this, that, the vaccine can take somebody out because it didn't work with them, all of that. So again, it's one of those things you read up on, you make the decision, but just try to do whatever else you can do if you choose not to take it, or if you choose to take it, to help to protect others, around you. And the people that you're with every day, whether it's
make your own decisions. Listen to your body, right? I'm learning to do that now, listening to my body, because I realize you listen to your body, you pay attention to your body tells you what it needs. Okay. Years ago, my body told me I needed to stop eating whole heap of other meat. Okay. Right now, I eat a little piece of chicken every now and again, but my body don't like it. I realize it don't like it. Chicken me grew up on, love me chicken in any different form. And I realize my body doesn't like that right now, right? You pay attention to your body, listen to it, and it will tell you what it needs. There are times when my body will tell me, say, all me need a ginger. Me can't stop drink ginger, I drink it like it's a goat style. And this is before COVID. But you listen to your body and it tells you what it needs. Don't listen to the hype that's out there from either side of the spectrum. Okay? Pay attention to what is needed for you. Weigh the material, weigh the information. Yes? Because I know what good for the goose, good for the gander.
Chris, let's talk about some of the myth that is out there.
Myth number 1. According to Nicki Minaj.
We'll start with this.
Nicki Minaj, it will make your balls them swell.
Her cousin
will make your balls swell.
Okay.
For the record, I've had no such swelling.
Myth number 1. Vaccine contain microchips. No, vaccines are developed to fight against disease, not to administer to track where you're going. That's what vaccines are for. It's not putting microchips in your body, right? Maybe someday they'll do that, because I see that coming down the line, because everything is gonna be.
They're tracking you now.
Absolutely.
With your cell phone. With your cell phone. Everything you do, your computer, everything, they're already tracking you.
Listen, them tell me, say, Alexa this, Alexa that. Me love me Alexa. As far as me concerned, them looking, them listening. You have any kind of technology, they're looking, they're listening, they're watching. I have nothing to hide, right? I have no problem. Watch all you want. Actually, I'll put on a good show. I'll give you a great conversation.
But that is true. They're already tracking you. There's a camera in every block. You are being tracked already. Okay. Myth number 2.
So myth number 2 is, can receiving a COVID vaccine cause you to be magnetic? No. Okay.
I'm sorry, magnetic?
To be magnetic. Okay.
You mean like Magneto on X-Men? I don't understand.
That would be a good power, but no. Okay. It does not contain any ingredients that can produce an electromagnetic field at the site of your injection. Sorry. So that's false. Vaccines are free of metals.
I saw this lady on TV. She said, if you put a quarter on the vaccinated spot, it stays there because it's magnetic.
Hold on, I'm not vaccinated. Let me see. Let me go get a quarter real quick.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Miss number 3.
Number 3, vaccines will alter my DNA. Absolutely not. There's no vaccine. I'm sorry. No, it's not going to alter your DNA. We started by saying I've been vaccinated and I have not grown an extra toe, limb,
So
nipple.
now, and so I just want to say, so these were looked up on Google. Again, you want to research your own stuff.
Yes.
Now, with the vaccine, I believe, and I don't know all of them, they all did something different, I think, but there's one with the messenger RNA, and that is supposed to be where it, I believe, again, research your own stuff, but they've created something that looks like the vaccine so that your body can then see it, recognize it, and start to, know how to attack it.
Yeah.
So it's the
Which is why you'll have side effects after getting the vaccine, because something new has been introduced into your immune system.
Right. And so
right.
Okay. Chris.
I can say it, I will say it once. I will say it twice. The vaccine does not make you get the virus. Nobody said the vaccine will make you get the virus. Like Tanya just mentioned, based on the research, the vaccine introduces what resembles the virus so that your body can learn how to interact and cope with that and fight those things, which is, again, why you will have some kind of side effect. You may have the fever, you may have chills, headache, what have you, some of the symptoms that are listed, but it does not cause you to get the virus. It also is not a cure for the virus. It doesn't prevent you from spreading the virus. Yeah? Like we said earlier, the vaccines right now, it may develop into something else afterwards, right? Later on, different introductions of the vaccine, mind you, may do some other things. But right now it is designed to do what? Keep your ass out the hospital.
It's designed to reduce the critical symptoms.
Absolutely,
that
yes.
you can get from COVID.
That way you can stay here and drink your garlic, your turmeric, your ginger, yeah?
And when you leave in the house, wear your mask.
Put on your mask. You know, once washing your hand, washing your hand, washing your hand. It's too dirty outside here.
Tanya?
Okay, so the next myth is the menstrual cycle. Okay, many things can affect your menstrual cycle, but no, the vaccine does not affect your menstrual cycle, okay, by being near someone who received the vaccine, or if you get it, or any of those, okay? Now, I will tell you, before COVID, you can be around females that you're around all the time and alter your time, okay?
Yes.
You know, I've gotten mad with many friends.
Because they change your cycle.
Change it up. Like it's you.
So maybe you are magnetic.
And that was happening before COVID.
Exactly. So, you know, I had my powers before that.
So, you know, although vaccines are highly effective, they are not perfect. No vaccine is 100%. No vaccine. Okay, so you will have breakthrough infections sometimes. Millions vaccinated, and that number is growing. This means that even though the risk of breakthrough infection is low, there will be many fully vaccinated people who can become infected and able to infect others, especially with the surge and spread of the Delta variant. Low vaccination coverage in many communities is driving the current rapid surge in cases involving the Delta variant, which is worse than the original COVID, which also increases the chance that even more concerning variants could emerge. And that's the thing that's scary, because by this virus keep going along as it is, more variants can come about. Vaccination is the best way to protect yourself, your family, and your community. So at least wear a mask if you don't want to get vaccinated. If not, this virus is going to be around for a long time. It's up to us. Only we can stop the spread. And on that note, we'll be right back.
Sail away on Bashment Bay.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, we're done with all the sick talk, the COVID talk, all of that. It's time to have some fun. Now, I'm going to introduce a video. When you first hear this upcoming video from Groove Galore Music, Honorable, and Big Mountain, you may recall that you've heard it before. Well, this classic tune was the third #1 hit for reggae crooner Beres Hammond. It was this song that inspired Paul Castick from Groove Galore Music to find the right time and collaborators to produce and record it again. It was released on August 8th of this year. So take a listen.
Boys, come the band called Big Mountain, alongside Groove Galore Music. Honorable, Monorable, Kickstand, Crank.
I'm gonna burn in the morning sun. Wait until evening coming out. Ain't gonna leave until you tell me what I've done. I remember when we used to walk hand in hand. You were so close to me. And now all of my dreams have gone away. And loneliness came yesterday. And my heart is filled with pain and love for you. But what did I do? Why are we through? If only I knew, Lord, if only I knew. I'm gonna burn in the morning sun. Wait until evening coming out. Ain't gonna leave until you tell me what I've done. I can't stand the pain. I'm feeling like I'm not your man. I'm confused, yes I am. 'Cause now you've been gone and gone too long. And it wouldn't cross my mind to do you wrong. If cheating was a house, then I would live outside. But what did I do? And why are we through? If only I knew, Lord, if only I knew. Oh yeah, I'm gonna burn in the morning sun. Wait until evening coming out.
Honorable.
Ain't gonna leave until you tell me what I've done.
Tina make me tell you where you do. While you sit down for a mattress on some high grade and I listen couple berries, some rockers. Make she do long time. You know if you hold a dialogue, cause relationship no work on at all. If it man alive, she perfect and looks turn up like ringtone. Beautiful and she proud her skin tone. Tell her you open her like a small anchor, and if nothing go wrong, you call Panja.
I remember when we used to sit and talk of love. You were beautiful, and now
Oh, that was awesome.
Yes. You remember that?
Big tune. Big tune.
So that was written by Willie Lindo and Richard Bailey, aka Honorable.
If only I knew. Wow. Awesome. Awesome.
All right. Big thanks to Mr. Paul Casting for this wonderful video. This song for all the viewers is available on all digital outlets and platforms.
Oh, I think that's our show, right?
Yes, that's our show.
I think I like it. Go.
Yeah, I think it was quite interesting, informative, different opinions, and so pleasant to have a male's point of view.
Yes. Our next episode will be on Sunday, October 10th.
And don't forget, like, share, comment, and subscribe. We want to hear from you.
Definitely. We hope you enjoyed this show. We hope that you will make a decision that's best for you and your family and your community. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Cheers.
Where's my wine? Oh, cheers. Oh, I like your cup, Chris.
A little tea me make. When I tell us I drink ginger.
Oh, this is strong. This is why I like white wine. Oh, this is strong.
Sharon is a lightweight. Sharon can't angle no drink. If you give her
No, I
one
can't.
shot of white rum, she turn over.
Oh, Jesus. I don't no, to me, white rum is for headaches or if you have a
Oh.
cold.
Well, in that case, I had a headache last night and the night before and the night before.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Okay, till next time.
Tune in to Bashment Bay.